Side by side now, the 40 of Dustin Loynes has his first challenge for the top spot. The 88 of Michael Churchma down on the inside lane. Can he get clear as they roll at a quarter number 4? Yes, he does. 40 slides in line, goes for the crossover. 88 gonna shut the door on him. And for the first time tonight, change for the lead at lap 10. Put Churchma up to the top spot. Loynes had led this from the drop of the green flag, had a 6/10 of a second gap when that first caution flew after contact at a quarter number 2. We had a couple guys making contact. Now the 88 sideways as well. Slowed down the back is the 68 rather of Damon Gilbert. 47 in that mix as well. Don Stevenson, Nathan Sedlak in all of this as well, guys, and battling side by side up inside the top 5.
Keeping a close eye here on Dustin Loynes. He keeps peeking back down to the inside, looking like he wants to get back up into the lead there. Don't know if he's going to be able to get it this time by. No, he's not. He's going to have to stay in behind Churchma for one more lap or at least one more turn here. He's going to take another dive down to the inside, take a look. Churchma's going to shut the door. Not going to happen.
Right now, the first battle on the racetrack is for position number 5, Scott Bailey on the outside. The 69 of Damon Gilbert falling close behind the 09 in the middle of this mix. Damon to the bottom, going to try to get around that 09 machine right now. William Roberts, that is, on the outside of him. These two machines battling hard already for that 6th position. Want to get up to the top 5.
And it appears that our microphone and audio issues have been resolved, so we are working under green flag conditions again. Want to welcome you into the broadcast. Everybody's been taking a look at the action, but we are finally able to, you're finally able to hear us. It is Cora Championship Online Racing Association, the Sunday Money Series. Myself, Evan Pasoko, alongside with Carl Jones and Petey Zeller up in the booth. We got contact between Don Stevenson and that 40 of Dustin Loynes. He was able to pull away in those opening stages again, and since this most recent restart has only been going backwards, he now has Sedlak to contend with as well. We got a lot of contact back around P10, 2-3 wide action around that, and these guys pretty much battling hard all over the racetrack now as the top 5 single file out for the moment.
Nothing new up here in the front. We've got Michael Churchman, Don Stevenson, and Nathan Sedlak. Sounds like a repeat of last week up here in the front of this pack here. Right now, Churchman is running a very, very nice line. As we were talking about earlier in this, before you guys could hear us, these guys are having a lot of problems here with this track tonight, especially with this setup being that it is a fixed setup. A lot of the drivers are not caring too awful much for this setup. The cars are very, very tight. They go into the turns, and these splitters just want to bounce off the track, and it's pushing them up into the outside wall. So if you're on the inside of a 2-wide situation or a 3-wide situation, you want to be very, very careful on what you're doing there, because your car is going to push straight up into the other guy, and that could be bad news, as we've seen already once tonight.
The 50 of Dustin Lee just got moved out of the way. There's a hornet's nest going on back here, right around that number 09 of William Roberts. These guys are getting aggressive. It was George Bark who gave the bump into him, and George is through. That got that pack separated, and that will give the first battle on the racetrack right now between the number 32 and 20 of Ryan Borges and David Wank. This is a battle for 10th. It will clear up really quick as the number 51 is actually going to take the hole and try to follow Ryan Borges through. The 51 of Nicholas Doucette cannot quite find a way through.
And again, that was contact with Bark. There caused a huge checkup. These guys still going at it rather hard outside of the top 10. The top 4 is the magic number. They have pulled a second gap between that 4th place machine, who is now Dustin Loynes, and the 5th place car of Damon Gilbert. 1.3 seconds is the gap from Gilbert up to Churchma, who leads this race. But again, just outside of the top 10 here, and around that 15th position, we've seen a lot of action. 99 car, a little bit slow off the exit. That's Charles Starks. That opens up the door. Dale Adkins to the bottom. He has immediate help with Dustin Lee, giving him a little bit of a push on the bottom. 73 there as well. That's Jeremy Crandall. And the 01 of John Pansula. A lot of heavy hitters are spread throughout this field. One of the biggest movers already, guys, and we saw the same thing 1 week ago. George Bark did not qualify, or rather did not put down a qualifying time, starting 30th on the grid. He's up to P8 that time at the stripe.
Yeah, George Bark is just flying through this field in that Red Bull car right now, the 42. He has moved up from the 30th position all the way to 8th, and he is just flying. Right now, taking a look back here at the Everett Lane car, he just got around his teammate, the fast lane teammate there, Mitchell Reeves, here about a lap ago. They have fallen back in line now, and that race is over. They're falling closely behind Nicholas Doucette, not Michael Doucette. Nicholas Doucette here, the youngest driver on the speedway right now is Nicholas Doucette. I think he is a tender age of 13 years old, and he is out here racing with these big guys and doing a great job.
We have some young'uns out here tonight, and they're trying to make their name with the big boys. We had a nice battle going on there for 6th with George Bark in the 09 as the replay goes up on the first caution, as you guys wanted to see. As we are still battling hard here, George Bark is flying through the field. He's going to try to get to the 08 of Scott Bailey for 6th.
Got a race for the lead, guys.
And the race for the lead is heating up here as this race goes on.
We were just bumper to bumper for 3rd. Dustin Loins was all over. Churchma goes to the high side. 88 throws a block. We saw a block be thrown by Churchma earlier in the race down to the bottom, protecting that apron, which is some of the drivers will go down to try to get a little bit of a run. George Bark, meanwhile, is 7th position right now. He got the spot from the 08 of Scott Bailey. A little bit slow off the corner. Him and the 09, Bailey and the 09 rather, of Roberts, side by side right behind him. Scott's going to get kind of cornered in, and comes down, nearly gets into the door. That was a close call. William Roberts wants to go in. George Bark nearly got into George's left rear, and if we go back to Richmond, George Bark was the pinball out there. Ran a great race, did everything he could, and got taken out a couple times by things out of his control. So although he his run so strong, he got the season off with a checkered flag at Daytona. He's still looking for some solid runs as the season continues to roll through right now. As they sit right now, he is 4th in the championship standings.
Still a drag race coming down the backstretch here between the 09 and the 42, George Barks and Roberts. Right now, George Barks has the advantage by about a fender. And as they go back here into turn number 3, it's still going to be a side-by-side battle. The 09 now is getting a little bit more of the advantage on the inside here as he's really trying to hold that car down low to keep from getting up into Barks. Barks is going to travel back up here now on the outside. One more time, he's going to see if he can get back up here and make this pass stick.
As we are battling hard here once again, these drivers want to get it all so early. These Bark car and the 09 have been side by side for many laps. They're door banging here. They both want this 6th position. William Roberts seems though he was just going to pull over for Bark, who's significantly faster, but he has not done that so far. With a very tight setup here, these guys are doing some great racing, and right behind them, this is letting the guys behind catch up. James Brown is catching them a little bit. As Bark gets tight off the corner, and he goes up the track, giving 6th position to the 09.
They made some minor contact down in 1. Bark and the 09 of Roberts just kind of drifted into each other. Nothing severe on that one that I don't believe would affect George in any way, but just something to keep note of for later on. We're 4 wide contact, the 20, the 51, and the 24. All in corners number 1 and 2. The 51 going to be the big loser in that. Doucette lost about 2 spots. He gets back going. They weren't 4 wide, but they were on everybody's left rear. It was kind of staggered there in the corner. Could have got a lot uglier than it did. Everybody there is able to keep them pointed straight. No harm, no foul for the most part in that regard. We still run right now with all 31 cars that started this race on the lead lap right now. Again, we had a couple that started from pit road. They benefited from the fact that that quick caution was allowing them to group back up to the field here for the only restart off of a caution flag that we have had so far tonight. George Bark does not want to give up on that 09 of William Roberts, but so far the 09 machine doing a good job of holding him at bay. Top 2 now, actually, trying to put some distance on 3rd through 5th, which is going to be Gilbert, Churchma, and Loins respectively. They have about 4/10 of a second on him, and Don Stevenson still trailing now Nathan Sedlak, who's up top.
Yeah, it looks like these top 5 are trying to make a complete breakaway from the pack as they picked up now a 2.7-second lead on the rest of the field. These guys have really got this figured out as the Storm cars here once again are up here in the front. Nathan Sedlak, Don Stevenson, they're still running great. Michael Churchma sitting here in 4th position right now. Damon Gilbert has made his way up to the 3rd position now from 6th. And he's looking like he's getting racing. He's wanting to get up here and race with these boys up here in the front.
Right now, Churchma, the 88, is falling back a little bit, and here comes the 40 of Loins. He's trying to get by the number 88 of Churchma. Churchma is starting to look like he's slowing down a little bit on the long run here, but one car that's speeding up right now is that 68 of Gilbert. Gilbert is catching up as the battle on the racetrack is starting to resume once again for 6th, the 09 and 42 of Bark. Bark is going to try to find a way around the 09 of Gilbert. He is caught back up here from the Irish Hills of Michigan.
And PD having a fun time with that one. Our whole introduction spiel per se obviously did not actually get transmitted through, but PD loves the reference of the Irish Hills of Michigan. So PD says he's going to beat that one to death tonight. So we'll have to make a counter on that. Maybe that'll be the drinking word for tonight. Anyways, it is Sedlak who has gone to the top spot. Not a surprise that it is these Storm Motorsports entries that are up at the front of the field. Don Stevenson, guys, this is race 6. He has 3 checkered flags so far on this year in 5 starts. And by the way, sitting on those with 4 top 10s as well. Very strong all year long so far. And, you know, you got to be intimidated even if you're Sedlak and you're his teammate that 47 is anywhere near the front, because that 47 Don Stevenson has proven to be an early favorite in this campaign. Again, have to note that races 1 through 19, as we work on race 6 tonight, races 1 through 19 are the regular season races. After that point, top 12 in the championship will be taken away, and they're going to have races 20 through 24. Going to be a 5-race chase for that championship. Side by side back here, Dustin Moines and Michael Churchman going at it. Churchman on the bottom, going to get cleared down into one. Let's see if that 40 machine can battle back at him as they come off.
Wow, looks like Loins is really wanting that position back there. He got right up here into the back bumper of Churchman there. He gave him a little shot, let him know that he's still there. He's still hanging on. But Churchman did make that pass cleanly, got around the 40 car there of Dustin Loins, and has now set his sights on Damian Gilbert for the 3rd position. Looks like he's going to have a little bit of time before he gets up to them. So, yeah, I'd say probably about a 1 second interval between the Don Stevenson car and Michael Churchman now.
Yeah, but
as Gilbert made a move for second.
That will change now, though, as Damon Gilbert has found his way around the number 47 car. He is in second now. Damon Gilbert's been coming to this field nice so far. He started in 6th tonight, had a long way to go, but with these cautions and things, held him up a little bit. He has done a great job finding his way back to this field. And these 3 cars have started to drive away from everyone a little bit. And one thing you will see in Michigan is it's no Daytona by no means, but the draft is still relevant with the long straightaways here. You will get a good run on these guys, and that will set up for some great racing through turns 1 to 2. And with the setup being tight like it is tonight, that just creates more of interesting scenarios as we go through the race tonight, as the 47 is trying to find a way back around the 68 of Gilbert.
Clocking in at 195 miles an hour on board that number 68 Ford of Damon Gilbert, who is in 2nd position, trying to utilize a little bit of that draft, as you said, at this very large 2-mile D-shaped oval racetrack, much similar to the Auto Club Speedway, Fontana, California. Actually, the faster cars, the faster tracks, because these cars are restricted when they go to those plate tracks. So some pretty high speeds here. We're starting to spread out. I want to make note of a battle back in the pack, and just saw about 2 wide, 4 rows deep. It's around 23rd, but want to make note of it that you got the 95 of Dale Adkins on the bottom. The 99 is just above him. Charles Starks sliding backwards a little bit. The 01 is in that mix as well. That's Pansula. 99 Sloman to the corner. 37 of Gordon Berkey as well. So although things starting to calm down and spread out in these lead top positions, still battling going on all the way through this field.
Speaking of battling going on right now, there's been a nice little battle here for the 11th position between our in-car reporter tonight, Everett Lane, and Nicholas Doucette, as Nicholas Doucette's been trying his heart out, trying to get up around him. Everett just seems to, every single time he gets there, make that just strong run off the turns.
Right now, one car that was not slow at all is the number 32 of Ryan Borges. He started in 22nd tonight. He just got around George Bark in the 42. He's up to 7th now. He is going to try to work on that number 09 machine of William Roberts. They're having a great battle here. It's going to be in a minute. Ryan Borges, though, he's driven straight through this field. It looks like Bark's car is struggling a little bit, though, as this race goes on. The 00 of James Brown's going to get under him. And this has created an unwanted situation for George Bark in the Irish Hills, Michigan.
That's number 2 on our count there. Borges, if you want to talk some statistics, is sitting on 1 trip to victory lane so far this season. Got that job done in the possibly the only super late model race that we saw at Richmond. He actually catches the wall that time going into the corner, so the broadcast curse, we'll call it, catches him there. He'll get some very minor damage on the right side of that Vortex Motorsports Chevrolet entry. He's the only driver 5 races into the season that has not had a finish outside of the top 10. Has 5 top 10s in all 5 starts so far. So keep an eye on that 32 as he continues to try to march through this field. As Speedy, again, you said, started back in 22nd. Was a 6th place car in practice, so he's running right up where we would expect. Maybe just didn't get the qualifying lap that he was looking for, but he continues to try to march forward. I'm actually surprised that we're seeing George Bark's back. Actually, 42 of George Bark is down pit road. 42's coming in.
With George Bark, as he pulls down in here his pits, he said enough is enough. He needs some new tires and fuel in this thing. He's going to go ahead and put the outside tires on it. We're going to see if he's going to, the crew's going to run around and change all 4. No, he just takes outside tires. So trying to make a little bit of an adjustment there, just taking 2 tires, maybe try to loosen that car up a little bit there. I'm sure he got a full tank of fuel also. He's down and away and back out to the race.
Yeah, a few others coming down. Dominic Dieball was in. We also saw the number 73 of Jeremy Crandall's in his pit stall right now. Looks like he's going to take all 4 tires in that vehicle. Is the battle for 4th is heating up. They're going on with 196 that time. Flying in turn number 1, the 88 of Churchma is trying to get around the 40 of Lyons, and he sent him off into that corner, actually, and that's going to give him a great run off. Will they get side by side? No, Churchma did not have the run he needed, but Churchma has to be getting frustrated here as they're going to have to go by Bark, who has rejoined the track surface. Is Churchma, I'm sure, wants to get up to the battle for the lead, but he cannot right now because he's 2 seconds behind them. And like we were talking about earlier with the draft, you are going to need that draft to catch back up to the leaders almost. I mean, it's not as bad as Talladega or Daytona where you lose the draft, but if you lose the draft here, it's still a significant loss for you.
See George Bark blend back up in front of them. He's actually able to kind of hold his own there. Again, took 2 tires only, so he will be faster than them. The 42 did have some pretty substantial, what was at the time, right side damage on that machine. Brought it into pit road, used up one of his quick fixes, and is now back out on track. However, he finds himself as the first car 1 lap down. Interesting to note that his teammate, Jeremy Crandall, also pitted and is also a lap down right now, along with Dominic Dieball. So, you know, possibly some sort of a team strategy call in that regard, that they both came down pit road. I didn't think that Crandall may have had any damage or not, so something to keep an eye on if that's some sort of a early pit there strategy call in this race. We are side by side right now. The 01 of John Pansula challenging 95, nearly came down on him, and the 01 screaming over the radio that he is there. This is a battle between Pansula and Dale Adkins going on right now for P15 rather, and they're battling pretty hard again all the way throughout this pack. It's actually battling for 16th position as they are still side by side off the corner. Advantages to Adkins. Can he clear him down into the corner is the question.
Well, just keeping a watch on these 2 guys here. It looks like that outside lane is a pretty strong lane. They're really strong coming off the turn. They're able to pull these guys a little bit as we see the 29 now trying to take a look. He's back and forth. I don't know if he's trying to push. That's exactly what it looked like he was trying to do, is push Pansula out past Adkins, but it did not work. Adkins was able to make that pass clean and has now dived it down onto the inside here right in front of Pansula. So Pansula unable to make that pass.
Things are starting to calm down a little bit, but not up front. New leader, give it to Damon Gilbert. He's the top spot, and he has taken over the lead in a very bizarre chain of events that have just occurred. It looks though George Bark on the new tires is flying through this field and separated them a little bit. In doing so, has brought the 68 to the lead with him. So this will shake up the lead battle. Give the lead to Damon Gilbert in his number 68 machine, and that will shuffle back Nathan Sedlick to second, and it will put Don Stevenson in third. And they're really battling hard. The Small Motorsports machine for 35 of Sedlick is going to battle side by side with the Damon Gilbert machine. Give the spot back to Sedlick here from the Irish Hills, Michigan.
If that 68's going to have to slide back to second. Gilbert coming off of a top 5 1 week ago. We were back out again in these B-class stock cars at the Homestead Miami Speedway, and it was Gilbert who was able to get a P5 result in that one. But it is now Nathan Sedlak back to the point, who's rolling off of a 6th place finish 1 week ago. And what can we say more about Don Stevenson? Took home his 3rd checkered flag in 5 starts last week, continuing to try to show the Storm Motorsports, the Vortex Motorsports as well, those affiliated teams, their dominance so far in the season. 68 took a look to the inside, 47 slid down just a little bit to be able to defend that position, but now things really starting to spread out. A little bit of a change for position back at a pack. The 29 of Dylan Ackert is able to get around Charles Starks. That was for P18, a little bit deeper in the pack as well. Joel Wood thinking about a battle. He's got the 8 machine of Martin Porter around him, as well as the 3 of James Wilkins. So for the most part, these guys up inside the top 10, top 15, really starting to spread out. We still got some jockeying for position going on in the latter half of this lead lap.
Taking a look back here in the 8th position, the 8th and 9th position, about to heat up for a battle here as David Wenk has now run down the Lafarge Employees machine of James Brown in the 00 here. He came from about a second and a half back, and he has now brought that 20 car back up to the rear bumper here now of James Brown, looking like he's wanting to get around.
Yeah, and that he does. One thing I'd like to comment on, though, the lead battle right now with the 68, he's starting to fall back a little bit. Damon Gilbert is losing ground to Don Stevenson and Nathan Sedlick as the Storm Motorsports guys are starting to show their dominance once again. And this is really great battle they put on. Sure, there hasn't been a lot of passing, but going at speeds of 190 in the corners where it's not full throttle, you have to let off, maybe not use the brake, but you have to let off the gas. I think it's significant to note that these guys are doing a fantastic job. And the fact they've only had 1 caution so far with a tight setup in such high-speed racing conditions is pretty impressive at the moment, as things are pretty calm on the racetrack. But the first battle on the racetrack right now is between Michael Churchma and the 09 of William Roberts, with William going to the outside.
Hearing some radio from back in the pack that the 3 car is going to be bringing it down pit road. That is James Wilkins. He's coming down for service. And again, we talked about, and Peter, you mentioned that those guys running up front nose and nose, they are teammates. They are actively in a team channel together talking, so they know what each other is doing, just kind of riding and actually trying to work together to put that 68 in their rearview mirror. The 47 has slowed up significantly and has lost a substantial amount of time to Sedlak up front. Then as he was trailing that back bumper the last circuit around the racetrack, so he'll go from being within a tenth to 2 tenths back right now, but again, still working with Sedlak Stevenson as well. The Storm Motorsports gang, also David Wenk, a part of their crew as well, and then their affiliated team Vortex. You got Ryan Borges, Michael Churchma on that team as well. They have really been the class of the field, and George Bark has really been helping out himself and Jeremy Crandall throughout the year. Again, got the checkered flag in the season opener at Daytona. Bark has been running well as well, but again, cannot put it into victory lane. He was able to unlap himself. We saw that earlier, but he's still 27. So, well, when are we going to see that 42, break through once again? Sounds like we've got a lot of people going to be coming down this time, though, for services. The green flag pit stops starting to get into full swing here as we approach lap 45.
Not going to be too awful surprised here to see our leaders make the dive pit road here very, very soon here. I heard earlier, Don Stevenson told me he was going to be looking probably no matter what around lap 45 to 50. Between lap 45 and 50, he's going to be pitting.
Yeah, and pit stops are going to be key here. You cannot make a mistake as you come down pit road, as we have the number 32 machine of Ryan Borges.
Stevenson coming in as well from second.
Stevenson coming in. The second place machine is going to bring his car down pit road. What strategy will we see as he gets his car slowed down from almost going 109 miles per hour to 55? Here he comes, taking his car down. He has a long way to go. His pit stall up front as he had a good qualifying run. And will we see him go with 2 or 4 tires? That's the real question as we're going to ask ourselves so far. High pit road speed at 55, higher than most tracks they have in Michigan. He makes it safely into his pit stall, no problems there. Big pit stalls they have here at Michigan, as they're going to jack the right side of that car up, put some right side tires on, and they're going to run around to the left side maybe, and yes they will, they're going to put left side tires on that car, fill it up with gas, and Don Stevenson is away from the Irish Hills of Michigan.
And through that, we were on board with Ryan Borges. Took a look at his stop, 4 tires as well. He gets back going and out of the pit lane. The 32 Vortex entry gets back going as well. William Roberts going back out on track. Don Stevenson as well. That's going to round Nathan Sedlak out to the point right now. You see he actually drives around his teammate there in the 47. So it's almost an exact lap that you lose there, because they pretty much came out even with how they were before that the Don Stevenson entry had dove down the pit lane. Now, with all these guys taking 4, is this going to put George Bark at a pretty extreme disadvantage now, guys, because he only took 2, as Sedlak going to bring it down, Carl?
Nathan Sedlak is driving it down pit road now. He's going to bring it into the attention of his pit crew. We're going to see if he's going to take 4 tires and fuel like everybody else has been doing. I don't think you're going to be seeing him doing any kind of 2 tire changes here. He seems like he's got a pretty good handling car right now. He's got the handle of the setup, actually, because everybody's got the same handling car. Who's going to have the better handle of it? Nathan Sedlak pulls it into the pit stall there, finds it perfectly squared into his pit stop. He's going to definitely take 4 tires and fuel, and he's down and away.
Yeah, smooth stop there for the 35 of Nathan Sedlak. This will shuffle things around a little bit, give the lead to the 88 of Michael Churchma. Michael Churchma is in that top spot right now, although he's going to bring it down the pit road. Churchman's been around the top 5 all night, qualified in second. He looks like he's going to bring his car onto pit road. I assume he'll take 4 tires, as all the Storm and Vortex Motorsports guys have done so far. Storm and Vortex Motorsports being affiliates, they help each other. We're in the setup, and they help each other in general in their TeamSpeak channels. And here he comes. He's going to come down to his pit stall. He will make it into his stall fairly safe. They have pretty big stalls here in Michigan. It's hard to miss them. And they're going to jack up his car, put the right side tires on. Seems as though they did that pretty successfully. Run right around that left side, and they're going to put the left side on. Churchma is revving his car. He's ready to go. They drop the jack, and he's right away. Churchma off pit road.
And now almost full circle. Salicardi led the last time by. He's going to be bringing it down pit road. Coming out of 4, got in hot, and oh, that is probably going to be a speeding penalty. I don't know if they're going to give you a 15-mile-per-hour leniency, as he was doing just about 70 when he got to that cone and nearly missed it. If he got out into the grass there just the slightest bit, he could have easily gone into that those tires on the pit road wall, and that could have gotten very ugly. He was doing 75 going in on the 55, so and to anticipate that may be a penalty, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Brandon Cruz-Monsalves, he's been able to cycle through to the race lead with Tim Johnstone in second. That now puts George Bark in third. Now finds himself, however, again on a different strategy than our leaders. Gonna have to see how that affects him in this race. 54 now slowing from the top position. Monsalves going to be bringing it down. Tim Johnstone as well. They both appear to be slowing. Very conservative entries for the 54 and the 12 machine.
Riding along here with Brandon Cruz-Monsalves in the small town computers number 54 machine as he brings it down pit road here to the attention of his crew now. He is going to slide it into his pit stall. Nice entry into the pit stall there. It looks like he's going to probably go ahead and take 4 tires and fuel also.
As they do. They run around the left side of the car. It looks like they're going to jack it up. No, just 2 tires.
He just took 2 tires. 2 tires only for Monsalves. He's wanting some track position apparently.
And that they do. 2 tires. Very interesting stop. What this does right now is it will cycle the lead through to George Bark in 42. If you guys remember, he short pitted this. He pitted very early, and George Bark is on a different strategy than everyone else, but he's on older tires, so Don Stevenson should be able to catch him because his tires are very, very more significantly fresher than the number 42 of George Bark right now, as he has just a 1.1 second lead. He's closing about 5 tenths a lap here, folks. Don Stevenson's catching him fast.
And this is going to put us in a very interesting window when it comes to pit stops throughout this race. Again, this race being 150 laps in length, my OCD likes this because if we cut it up in thirds, if you wanted to make it on 3 stops, or rather on 2, you'd have to come in right now at the lap 50 mark and at the lap 100 mark. Because they are short of that, it's going to put them on a 3-stop strategy, I believe, unless we really get a long string of yellows that we may see somebody try to stretch it. How does the 42 with George Bark, was he playing that into a factor when he came down just past lap 30? We will have to see. The only issue for him is, yeah, he's got the track position. Don Stevenson chasing him down by, just 4 tenths a second per lap. So expect that 47 to be able to make a move here in not too long. He is also bringing his teammate Nathan Sedlak in tow, just about a second back is that number 35 entry. He's going to have to get around John Pansula. That is a lap car as they run right now, but I do believe that Don would be able to cycle through to the lead here in a couple more laps as he continues to chase down George Bark. George is going to have to pit now again earlier than everybody else, so could this field strategy call possibly give him an upper hand or maybe a disadvantage as well? We'll have to see.
Yeah, if he doesn't fall too far back through the field there before he has to go in for the pits, I don't see it hurting him too awful bad. The only thing is going to be for that last run, he is going to be out there on much older tires than that of Don Stevenson. Like you said, Don is just catching him wholesale right now. And like I said, if Parks doesn't go too far back into the field after this round is taken care of and everybody's tires start to match up here and everybody starts getting loose or tight or whatever they're going to do, it might not hurt him too awful bad.
Well, no, and whenever he came to the pits, he wasn't position number 8. I remember that. And here comes Don Stevenson like a bat out of hell. He's going to catch him immediately. And he goes to the low side, and he's underneath George Bark. It's going down in turn 1. It's not even a competition. Give the top spot to Don Stevenson. And now George Bark just has to try to contain himself here. Nathan Sedlick going to be coming up on him really quick. First battle on the track right now is with the 40 car of Dustin Lyons and the number 60 of Gilbert. They were side by side just a moment ago. Kind of settled down here. But there are, here comes the number 68 of Damon Gilbert, going to dive underneath that number 40 of Dustin Lyons. Remember, Damon Gilbert did not have the greatest pit stops. He was going to try to make his way back to his field. He was running somewhere between first and third when when green flag pit stops began. And right now, it looks as though George Bark up front, he is starting to lose a ton of ground to Don Stevenson from the Irish Hills of Michigan.
That 40 machine of Dustin Loynes is all over the back of the 68 of Damon Gilbert. Again, that battle went on for P5. George Bark has slid back to second and now pretty much into the clutches of that 35 of Nathan Sedlak. This, I assume, would be a pass coming up here for P2. The 01 of John Pansula lets off on the bottom, lets that 35 machine know that he can get after that 42 car and is just going to stay there a little bit to not allow Sedlak to get the dive that he wanted. So will cost him a little bit of time, but Sedlak is thankful of John Pansula's movements there to be able to just get out of the way and let them race it out. But we are past the 1/3 distance mark in this race, and we're going to take our first opportunity to get a drink of water, take a caution flag of our own. So you are watching the Cora Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series from the Irish Hills of Michigan. From Michigan International Speedway, Don Stevenson leads 1/3 of the way through this. More racing coming up. We'll see you on the side-by-side.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun, but there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Yeah. Things are getting aggressive from the Irish Hills of Michigan here. Contact with the 09 and the 81. Colton Berkey was running side by side with William Roberts. Roberts went to the bottom to make a move on George Barkin. Well, drove into the door of the 81, sent them down to the grass. No caution would fly. We're going to get that replay going up for you as we can. The 09 just now leaving pit road after receiving a black flag. And it is Don Stevenson, Nathan Sedlak, the top two. 3 seconds back now is George Bark, but still in the top three. He rides in that number 3 position, still with about 0.8 of a second over Damon Gilbert. So made that pit stop from 8th spot. He sits in the top 3 right now, so he's getting the job done. As we continue to work under green flag conditions, still working on that replay, going to be coming up here shortly. That contact happened coming at a quarter number 4. Again, when we were on the side by side there, and you're going to be able to take a look at it here very shortly. But guys, I have to say, I think it's a win on the strategy called by George Bark for now. Again, it all depends on, because he pitted so early, if he'll be able to stay with that 3-stop strategy, which I think he'll be able to do. Coming up on the halfway point here in not too long. Once we hit lap 75, if he can make it to that point, he should be good by making it again on 2 more stops from that point on, if he does stop at the halfway point. So we'll continue to have to take a look at that, but you gotta like the green flag nature of this race.
Taking a look here at a really good battle that's been going on here for the past couple of laps now between Dustin Loynes and Michael Churchma. They have been side by side right now. Michael Churchma is looking right back to the inside here now of Loynes for the 5th position. And Loynes is going to go high and yield that position right now to finally to Michael Churchma. Michael Churchma has been fighting really hard to get up there. He had the 73 car there, got in his way the first time. He was on the outside going to make a pass to the outside, and the 73 lap car machine there stopped his progress, so he had to find another way around it, but he finally did it. Michael Churchma has moved himself up into the 5th position.
One thing I'm watching right now is Ryan Borges has really got his car hooked up. He has just been patting cars left and right from the Irish Hills of Michigan as they're trying to make their way to the front. That 32 crew has that car hooked up, and they're going to look underneath that 40 of Lyons. And Lyons is starting to fall back a little bit. These cars are faster than him, and Loynes is just struggling, it looks like, with the handle as Borges right underneath him. And Borges should get around him really easy in the Vortex Motorsports machine of his, and give 6th and 5th to the 2 Vortex machines of Churchma and Borges. They're going to race here in a moment. It appears that Borges has quite a significantly faster car at the moment.
Damon Gilbert going to be able to get around George Bark. That is for 3rd, but you do have those Vortex machines lined up 5th and 6th. You got the Storm guys lined up right now 1st and 2nd. You do see the 15 machine in the mix of that. That is Dominic Dyball. He is 2 laps down as they run right now, so they're talking with him. The 15 is on fresher tires, so they're discussing how they're going to be able to work through this and, not impede the progress of each other, but also get that 15 through and out, because he does have a little bit fresher tires, and it actually looks like Dominic's actually going to let him go. So that's going to be interesting how they negotiate that. Over the top 2 do have now 4.6 to the good, where we find Damon Gilbert in that quick lane racing entry right now, who sits 3rd position on the racetrack. Still right now 24 cars are on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is Brendan Mossavais, so he's working on that 2-tire strategy, Carl, that we followed him down with, and hasn't made up the track position that he would have wanted from it. He's battling with Jason Halverson for 23rd.
Yeah, taking a look one more time here at Brandon Cruz Mossavais here, as you were talking about him not having the success like Barks did. He is pretty much struggling back here in the back of the pack around the 24th position, as he's trying to get now down around the 21 car of Jason Haverson. And pretty good gap between them now as he's Halverson seems like he's getting just a little bit better of a run off these turns and down these straightaways. So Monsivice is not going to be able to make that pass.
You know, the racing may be spread out right now. There's not too much side-by-side battles that look down through the field. But one thing you got to appreciate when cars get spread out and they're all away from each other is the pure speed of a race car. We are all here, the drivers, the commentators, the fans, because we love racing. And one thing you got to love about these nationwide cars is that their sheer speed right now is we are watching them go almost 190 miles an hour into the corner. And remember, these guys have such high downforce, they can almost maintain speeds of around 165 as they turn through turns 1 and 2. A little bit slower through turns 3 and 4 as they only hit about 185 heading into there. But these cars' speed is just fantastic to watch. We watch these beautiful Chevy Camaros and Ford Mustangs race around the Irish Hills of Michigan.
We don't need to mention those Mustangs. Let's just talk about those Camaros. We do have some vehicle facts for the interest here that I did write down before we went on. We got vehicle facts as I am being sabotaged for the lack of Ford love that I am showing. These NASCAR Class B stock cars run with a 350 cubic inch 5.8 liter push rod V8, also running at about 650 to 700 horsepower unrestricted with a 4-speed manual transmission, power steering with recirculating ball with mild steel with full roll cage chassis, 110-inch wheelbase, and weighing in at 2,450 pounds without the driver. Just for a side note there.
It looks like our leaders are going to start running into some lap traffic here as Nathan Selleck pulls up and under now the 21 car of Jason Halverson. The next car in danger of going a lap down is going to be the 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsivice, as he is only just about maybe a half a second ahead of these guys. So Monsivice's pit strategy did not work out for him. Looks like he is going to be the next car that's going to be eaten up by these leaders here and go a lap down.
Yeah, the racing is fun to watch though whenever they do get racing here with these tight machines. Things do heat up and the tempers will flare later in this race. We are approaching the halfway mark of this race, and I'm going to take you down through your top 10 right now. Leader Nathan Sedlick, second Don Stevenson, third Damon Gilbert, fourth Michael Churchma, fifth Ryan Borges, sixth Dustin Lowens, seventh David Wenck, he's done a good job making his way back to this field, eighth James Brown, ninth Dustin Lee, and 10th the youngest driver in the field, Nicholas Doucette, at just a tender age of 13. Carl touched on that. And you know, I want to call out the 51 here. He's doing very good here tonight for just a young man as he tries to make his way through this field, and he's in 10th out of about 31 cars that took the green flag tonight, and that is very impressive if you ask me, to be at such a young age and racing with the adults and seasoned racing veterans as we have here tonight. Shout out to the 51 Nicholas Doucette. You're doing a wonderful job, bud.
Just a quick update here really quick on the 42 of George Barks. He has made his second pit stop. This time he took 4 tires, dropped him down 1 lap now, though. George Barks sitting back here in the 24th position after his pit stop.
The Bark has cycled through. He is short of the halfway point. Looking at the field, I still believe that he'll be able to make it on one more stop. But again, that's a strategy call that we'll have to see how that would shake out at that point, and then it's going to be something that we keep an eye on as he sits right there in back in 23rd. He's the third car 1 lap down behind Brandon Cruz Monsivice and also Jason Halverson. We got a lot of cars 1 lap down that are either going to be fighting for a wave around position or even the lucky dog as well. 21st, now 20th through 28th, all 1 lap out of this top spot.
Back up here in the front now with Nathan Selleck. He is really being challenged hard now by the 47 of Don Stevenson. Don Stevenson looking like he wants to get up here into the lead. I was talking with Don before the race, asked him if he's going to let anybody else win. He said, yeah, probably a sprint car.
Funny to mess around with these drivers for the race. A lot of these guys have great senses of humor, and it's just wonderful. Race car drivers have long memories. It's something that Evan likes to bring up a lot. So even though they're fun to mess around with, I wouldn't mess around too hard because they will not forget. The battle for the lead right now is probably the closest battle on the racetrack, and they're not even side by side yet. The 47 of Don Stevenson, 3-time winner of the season, is closing in on his teammate, the 35 of Nathan Sedlick. And I want to take a quick moment to comment on the dominance of these Vortex and Storm Motorsports cars. Sedlick leads, Stevenson second, Kirchma fourth, Borges fifth, and Wenck sixth. That's their whole team right there. They're the exception of Damon Gilbert, the entire top of the leaderboard is nothing but Vortex and Storm cars. They don't play around here. They are here to win, and they are making a big statement here from the Irish Hills of Michigan today as they race hard for the lead.
And we are halfway through, as PD likes to bring up at the Irish Hills of Michigan. We are going to give you now the full field rundown as they go right now. Again, PD tried to get that top 10 in earlier, but the OCD says we got to split her in half, and we are past the halfway point. So we're going to run you down through where everybody sits right now, get you caught up to date on where all the drivers are as we prepare for what's going to be our second round of green flag pit stops coming up in not too long. So top 10 as it run right now, Nathan Sedlak with a 1/10 of a second over his teammate Don Stevenson. Damon Gilbert, 6.4 seconds back, is in third spot. Michael Churchman, P4, he's 7.4 seconds off the top spot. Another second back, third through fifth, a second intervals between them. You got 6.4, 7.4, 8.4 back is Ryan Borges in the 32 machine. That is fifth position. 14.8 back, David Wink is in the number 6 position. James Brown, 7th spot right now. Solid run going for him. He's 15 seconds back. 18 back in 8th position. That's Dustin Lee. 9th position right now to Nicholas Doucette, as we mentioned. And Martin Porter actually just going to lose that top 10 position right now. Everett Lane going to take it from him. Still haven't gotten an opportunity to talk to Everett, our in-race reporter tonight. May not if this thing continues to go green through. But that is the top 10 as they go right now. 11th position now is Martin Porter. Scott Bailey, 12th. 13th is Dale Adkins. Charles Starks, 14th. 15th, Dylan Ackert. James Wilkins, 16th position. 17th is Sal Accardi. Joel Wood in 18th. Last car on the lead lap in 19th spot is the 2 of Chad Wilson. Lap down machines include 20th position, Brandon Monsavis, George Bark in 21st. 22nd, Jason Halverson, John Pansula, 23rd. 24th is Dustin Loynes, William Roberts, 25th position. 26th to Gordon Berkey, Dominic Diebold in first machine, 2 laps down in 27th, along with Colton Berkey, 28th. 29th, Jeremy Crandall, Mitchell Reeves in 30th. Those are the other machines that are 2 laps down, and 8 laps out of it down on pit road, and possibly out of it for the night. The last place machine right now, 31st, is Tim Johnstone.
Okay, now you can take a breath there, buddy.
There's quite a few cars, yeah.
Back up here, take a look one more time at these these 2 lead cars here, Sedlick and Stevenson. Nothing much has changed up here in the front. Gilbert and Michael Churchman looks like they're going to be the first battle right now for the 3rd and 4th position. Churchman is taking a look to the inside of Gilbert and not able to get anything done there. He's going to fall back in behind him. Ryan Borges is sitting there in a close 5th. Once again, Churchman's going to take a look one more time to the inside of Gilbert, see if he can get this pass going into turn number 1.
A pass for the lead. Don Stevenson easily to the lead there. He has had a challenge from the 35 Nathan Sedlick as things are calming down. A few more cars a lap down now as we just have 19 cars remaining on this lead lap here as things are heating up, though, as you pointed out, for the battle for 3rd. Churchma battling for 3rd right now with Damon Gilbert. Gilbert does not want to give that position up. Right now, this race is just turning out to be one of them classic races from the Irish Hills of Michigan, as these guys are racing pretty spread out right now. But there's a few little battles scattered up the track in a fairly caution-free race. Churchma, though, just wants to find a way around that number 68 Damon Gilbert. And Damon Gilbert's crashing the Storm Motorsports / Vortex Motorsports party right now. And he's also crashing the Chevy party that is dominating this race. Gilbert being the only Ford up there right now.
And I'm surprised to see, we have seen the 47 get back to the lead. It's not a surprising thing, I guess we should say. Surprising that Sedlak let him go so easily. And again, they are teammates. Not really any point of challenging that at this point. A caution would really hurt these guys, and we say that even though being that they are right now the fastest cars on tracks right now. Stevenson the fastest. He actually put a 40.9 down the last time around now with a 41.0, as well as a 40.9 now for Nathan Sedlak. So you can see that extra little bit of a tenth there coming from that car that's riding in the second spot, working that little bit of a draft. But, I mean, 8 seconds to the good back to Churchma, who's now in third position. Damon Gilbert is fourth, not too far behind him. These guys could run out of fuel with a lap to go and still be able to coast them across the stripe. So really liking where things are right now if you're part of that Storm Motorsports group right now, because they have dominated pretty much this season, and no difference tonight in this fixed setup race, dominating out there up at the front of the field. Still, again, the 20, their other teammate David Wink, one of the Vortex guys, he's back in right now, actually 7th position, also affiliated with those guys. So a solid run going on right now also for David. He can't get too comfortable though, because he's got a couple guys all around him. He's actually trying to catch up to James Brown, who Carl impressed with that run at that 00. He's top 5.
Yeah, James Brown running here in the top 5, running in the matter of fact in the 5th position in the Lafarge Employees 00 machine, as he is now being taken a look on the inside here of David Wink, now looking like he's getting kind of racy, wanting to get up around our CEO James Brown, and looks like he's going to be able to make this pass stick.
But Ryan Borges, number 32, 5th place runner, brought his car down pit road. First of these leaders we've seen bring their car down to pit road, as we expect to see the pit road party start to heat up here. Another car bring it down pit road. Damon Gilbert, the 68, will he take 4 tires? It's been a long run. Can't imagine he doesn't, as he's going to try to find his pit stall here. Brings his car down this long pit road. They can hit high speeds up to 55 miles per hour
for the lead
without being penalized. Change for the lead is Sedlick is not giving up on this battle. He's to the top spot now over the 47, and it appears as though the 68 of Damon Gilbert is taking 4 tires on that machine. So not much of an update there, but green flag pit stop starting to begin.
Stevenson's coming in right now. He just gave up that spot to Sedlak, and the 47 is going to be bringing it down pit road. The 8 of Martin Porter says he will as well, as this lead lap is starting to cycle down to only 13 of them on the lead lap. So this cycle of stops is in full swing, which confirms my thought that it's going to be a 3-stop strategy to the checkers here. One more time they're going to have to come down before they reach the lap 150 mark, which is what they're going to be shooting for to make it to the end of this one. And now it's just a question of, again, not trying to stretch it all the way to 50 to make it on 2. Now that you know it's going to be 3, you have a little bit more leniency on when you're going to bring them down. So Sedlak stays out. Last time the Storm guys came in on back-to-back laps. This time Sedlak going to stay out a little bit longer, still leading some laps up front. You see the 47 of Stevenson down there on the apron again, almost an exact lap that you will lose under those green flag stops.
Actually, a little bit of a correction there. Sedlak actually stayed out 3 laps past Don Stevenson when Stevenson pitted. So we will be seeing here in the next 2 laps, I'm sure, Nathan Sedlak getting ready to dive down pit road. He hasn't said anything yet over the radio, but I'm sure that that's going to be coming up here probably within the next 1 to 2 laps. As a matter of fact, here he comes now. Nathan Sedlak gives up the lead, heading down pit road. Let's take a ride down pit road with Nathan Sedlak.
Nathan Sedlak slowing his machine down from speeds of almost 190. Can't mention it enough tonight. To just a slow 55 miles per hour. This machine started 5th tonight from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Going to try to get a good finish here tonight. Wants to come out with a victory. He's up there in that points battle, as he is going to try to pull into his pit stop. With ease he does. Gets really close to that yellow line. Can't cross that, or your crew will refuse to service your car, as it is illegal to do that. As he hits the right side tires on, they're going to run around that left side. No point taking 2 tires here. Too risky of a call, I have to believe. And that will put the 4 tires on the Sedlak machine, cycling the lead through to the number 88 of Michael Churchma, who is now your leader, folks, here in Michigan.
The Irish Hills.
And Churchma going to bring it down. Nice, safe entry by the number 88 machine. Sedlak, who was again scored 2nd, scoring, still needs to cycle through on that one. David Wink going to be bringing the number 20 car in as well. James Brown just behind him, entering pit road as well. And the Lafarge Chevrolet bringing it down right now from a top 10 spot. Everett Lane appears to still be staying out. This could cycle him through to a top spot, depending on where all the scoring loops will update and whatnot. The 51 machine still out there. That's Nicholas Doucette, the 02 as well. He's battling with. That's a machine that's currently off of the lead lap, but not out of it yet. Mitchell Reeves only 2 laps down that fast lane racing entry, still trying to make up for lost time. Churchman now exiting the pits, and there's so much strategy that plays into it with such a long green flag run.
Taking a look up here with the 51 of Nicholas Doucette, young man, he is going to go ahead and lead his first laps of the day here now, as he is going to just about get into the O2 there that just got around him after his pit stop. But Nicholas Doucette, young man out here leading this race here for the first time tonight. Let's see if he's going to break off and head down pit road.
And we will expect it, although great job of that young man. He has worked hard to be accepted in the league. This is a very strict league here. They will not put up with nonsense that you will see a lot of kids on iRacing do. And, you know, it's hard for a kid of his age to get in such a prestigious league, but he has somehow managed to do it. And congratulations to him. It proves his maturity right now, as he is now your leader here. Very proud of the 51 here tonight, as here he comes around turn 1 and 2, the leader of this race. I'm so happy for him being in his tender age leading this race here from the Irish Hills of Michigan.
And Petey's really given a lot of credit there to Nick Doucette, who currently sits in the top spot. It's almost getting a little weird, but we won't talk about that. The 51 is P-Run right now. He's going to be bringing it down pit road right now, just announcing that over the radio again. For the most part, these drivers are going to queue up on the in-race chat, let the guys know that they're going to be bringing it down. Not so much a major factor at Michigan as some other tracks, because obviously you're on the bottom lane here, but there's some other tracks, especially 1.5s, the intermediate tracks that I would think that would be more common, where you would see you're going to have to kind of go up to bring it down, and he'll be braking really right in that racing groove, coming through 3 and off of 4. So not so much of an issue tonight, but all the drivers make sure to either give some sort of a text warning or come over the radio, let everybody know that they're going to be coming down. This has cycled out, as I predicted, Everett Lane to the top spot. His middle name has changed, apparently. It's now Everett F Lane instead of Everett D Lane. Carl, is there any sort of story behind that, or?
No idea.
You're our in-house expert. Do we know how
that
that abbreviation has changed at all?
Well, maybe if we get a chance to get him up here for an interview, we can ask him. He's getting ready to head down pit road right now as we speak. Just like all the other guys have been doing during these cycling of pit stops, they get up to the lead, make a couple laps, 1 or 2 laps, and head to pit road. So we're going to ride down here with Everett F Lane tonight, down pit road, and let's see what his pit crew is going to do for him.
Yeah,
he slides it into the tier.
And that they will. And I have to imagine
he took a quick fix as well on that one.
All right, so he's getting his car repaired. Also getting repaired with them tires, put 4 new ones on, I have to suppose, and they'll jack up the left side of that car, put 2 new Goodyear Eagles on the left side of that car, and he is off. Very conservative giving off pit road. Have to appreciate that. Saving his tires, doesn't want to burn them off, getting out of pit road. This is a real rough track, bumpy. They don't have the new repaved version on iRacing, so when you go through these corners, you will hit bumps and your car will wiggle, and it is a problematic track, and it's impressive that these guys have been able to be green for, I think it's almost 90 laps now, Evan. And I know the fans are complaining, this race is getting boring. This is exciting right now. It's fun watching these guys wheel these cars around this high-speed racetrack.
We can hear the excitement in your voice, Petey. The hype is real. Question on that 24 car, we've been talking about them tonight, and obviously on the ticker you'll notice that it matches, for the majority of these cars, matches the design, and it's typically the black with the flame, the Jeff Gordon Exalta style design. Still got the flames on it, but it's green. Does that have anything to do with the Irish Hills of Michigan? Possibly. I don't know. It's a green car.
Conspiracy.
Carl, we gotta queue up. We need a caution. There are questions that we need to find answers to with this 24. He's cycled back to 18th right now. Nathan Sedlak is now up back into the top position. He is retaking that lead over Don Stevenson. Again, Don made that pass just before they started to cycle down. George Bark is going to be able to get back up to 3rd position, but again, off sequence with our leader, maybe losing a little bit of time over Damon Gilbert. 7.5 back from the leaders and 4.5 back from George Bark right now as they sit on the racetrack. So Damon Gilbert, again, still running strong, but really starting to get strung out. Only 18 cars remain on the lead lap at this point in the race.
Number 54 now at Brandon Cruz Monsivice. He is going to make his second pit stop as he pulls down on pit road here. And let's see what's going to go on with the 54 small town computers machine as he's going to slide it into his pit stop here and see what kind of a pit stop he's going to get. Looks like, he's going to get in here. He's going to get a good stop right on the marks, right where he needs to be. He's going to take at least 2 tires. He has to do something though. I think he's going to have to take them 4 tires because he was just falling off way too much. He is going to take 4 tires and fuel, and he's down and away. Brandon Cruz Monsivice in the 54 Small Town Computers car.
Green flag pit stops always exciting here from the Irish Hills in Michigan, as we still are under green flag conditions. Grueling. These drivers have to get mentally tired driving for so long. Top 3 right now: Sedlak, Stevenson, Bark. Bark on a different fuel strategy though. This time he is 4 seconds behind them 2 leaders, not as successful as he was last time with this pit stop, as they still race up front. This whole race, the 47 of Stevenson and Sedlak have been near each other, and that's not changing anytime soon, it appears, as they continue to put guys down a lap. 17 cars just remaining on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap, number 3 of James Wilkins. So we're really starting to see who's the contenders here and who's pretenders as this race goes on, Evan. And you got to be impressed with what these guys are doing.
It's not easy to be able to stay out here and stay green for these extended period of times. Again, we've seen a couple incidents. Obviously, we mentioned that we saw a couple cars that were out in the grass. I know it was the 01. Somebody got turned into the grass. It may have been William Roberts who gave somebody some help. That was at a corner number 4 earlier when we were on our first commercial break. And, you know, there's been a couple incidents, people getting loose, people get down in the grass, but the point is they've been able to hang on to it. You really got to pace yourself, and you look at Michigan, you look at 150 laps, you know that maybe these guys are going to take it easy on the start. Didn't look like it because we were 4-5 wide on that first start. I know we weren't on the microphones, but you could see it in that back of the pack area. Really rolling into this, I think a lot of drivers, Carl, and maybe you can, you know, shed some light on this as well. You've been talking to a lot of the guys. I think rolling into this one, there's sometimes you go into a race and you don't expect it to go green. You know, you'll be prepared for those string of cautions that may plague the majority of the race. I feel like a lot of drivers came into this race expecting a long green flag run, so they were a little bit more prepared for it.
Well, actually, I was down pit in the garage area down pit road earlier today before this race started. And just the opposite, actually. These guys were expecting this to be a caution fest today. They were figuring it'd be just one caution after another. Proved them wrong, as Nathan Sedlak has now pulled out just about a full second lead now on Don Stevenson. So not even Don Stevenson able to keep up here now with Nathan, as Nathan's really got the handle of this car figured out. He knows exactly what he needs to do to keep that car up front, obviously. And one thing I think that's can contribute to the lack of caution here is just the amount of respect that these guys have been showing each other as they're, especially these lap cars, they're getting up and out of the way of any of the lead cars as they're coming through, and just a lot of respect. So you got to hats off to these guys today. They have been doing a tremendous job.
One thing we've been joking a lot around tonight with is that whole Irish Hills of Michigan. I'm sure some of you fans are absolutely confused on why we were doing that. And I'm going to give you a little bit of historical facts on that. I've looked up while racing's pretty spread out.
Because the racing has been so intense that you've had time to do some independent research.
I have done some independent research. And the Irish Hills of Michigan is an area of land roughly in southeastern Jackson County in Michigan. Its name comes from the Irish immigrants who settled there from 1830 to 1850. They came off their boats from Ireland and they settled in the America. They could not find many jobs as Irish immigrants were not well liked, so they went to a hilly area in Michigan, and that's where we get the name, the Irish Hills of Michigan. The main attractions around there are Michigan International Speedway, and that's about it. So that's why they call it the Irish Hills of Michigan.
See, that was like 7 times. That's not fair, but I've actually been able to be to the to MIS, as it's referred to, Michigan International Speedway. It is a rather good facility. Unfortunately, there wasn't any racing going on when I was able to go, but I've been in and around this area in Michigan and whatnot. We are within now 50 laps to go, so 2/3 through tonight's race with these B cars. Race 6 of 24 with the Cora Sunday Money Series. We are going to step away for our final time under a commercial break under the green flag conditions. We'll come back and it's going to be the final few laps. We'll see, does the Storm Motorsports domination continue? Do we see a caution shuffle this one up? Nathan Sedlak leads from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Commercial break, and we're going to have the race to the checkered flag on the other side.
can't.
Shut up. Proudly.
Back live from the Irish Hills of Michigan, Michigan International Speedway, playing host to tonight's Cora Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series on LSR TV. And if you're typing it in on the website, the S is not an S, it is a dollar sign, because why not? Race 4 of 24 in the works tonight, a fixed setup race, only one caution through to lap 110, where we do see Nathan Sedlak. He continues to lead up at the front of the field, still with his teammate not too far behind, 9/10 back to Don Stevenson. One more cycle of pit stops to get us to the checkered flag tonight now, as this time by 40 laps to go, and this could decide it again. Still only the one caution that happened on lap 3. Other than that, green all the way. A caution will really change the format and the look on this entire race if it were to happen.
Right now, the only battle that I'm seeing on the track is going to be between Ryan Borges and Michael Churchma in the 88 and the 32 here, as Churchma dives it down to the inside, gets around Borges, and puts Borges back to the 5th position. Michael Churchman is up to 4th now.
Things are really getting slimmed down here. We're down only 14 cars on the lead lap, folks. This has been a grueling pace these leaders are setting. And the rate they're going, we're going to have about maybe 8 cars left in the lead lap by the time this thing's over. This is just a ridiculous pace they're setting. Right now, we have some cars within striking distance, and that is... Oh, actually, now we're down to 13. They just lapped Sal Accardi, so more and more cars going to lap down.
Sal. Go ahead. Sal, just want to make a quick note of that. Sal Accardi just raced his way back onto the lead lap by himself. He didn't, by no aid of anything, he just drove by the leaders, but it looks like the leaders have now since decided to put him back down a lap. I was watching that battle earlier.
That's actually very impressive there. Is George Bark is falling back. I think he may have just made his pit stop. The 42 car is indeed down pit road. He has already been through his stall and out. This is his 4th pit stop of the race, and he is down and away as this will shuffle through, and now we just have 13 cars in the lead lap, and this will move Nicholas Doucette up in the top 10. Good job for him.
Yeah, we talked about Bark, how he was on that different strategy, getting the job done. He's been able to get back out there. I don't think he has a shot at the checkered flag tonight unless there's a caution and they all come down, because by the time everybody else cycles through, he may be up there in the top 3 running position, but the fact that they're going to be on fresher tires by quite a handful of laps is going to, I think, give them the upper hand. Meanwhile, Nathan Sedlak still stays out. Don't count these guys out on a little bit of short pit strategy as well, not just Bart coming in because he's on that different cycle. We could see some guys like a Nick Doucette, a James Brown, and David Wink, some guys that are at the tail end of the top 10 and in turn the tail end of the lead lap coming down. We hear a lot of drivers coming down actually on a short pit strategy. What this is going to hurt them in regards to is they're going to be a lap down. So you're going to see a couple guys doing a short pit, hope that they can save some time. In the same regard, a lot of guys, and I would anticipate that if I was the leader, Nathan Sedlak, you want to stay out as long as possible, not pit, so that if something were to happen, you would still be on the lead lap, try to stretch that fuel cell as much as it'll go to be able to stay and maintain that top spot. Even though, again, also it's going to be that much more of a comforting decision, considering the fact that they had 8 seconds over the second place car at the time. Churchman now cycles through in third, 12 seconds between Sedlak, Stevenson up front, and Churchman Borges. So funny, you got the Storm guys 1-2, and now you got the Vortex guys in 3rd and 4th. Those two teams still just so strong.
Even if they do a short pit and only take on 2 tires, at the amount of they are behind, I don't see how. The only thing that's going to do is to maybe close them in a little bit closer if everybody else decides to take four tires. But I don't even see how short pitting is going to be able to help these guys here. It's going to take nothing but a miracle to actually get this to close up any. And we'd have to see a caution. I think the only way we're not going to see Nathan Sedlak and Don Stevenson win this race today is if we get a caution or one of those 2 guys mess up on maybe a pit entry or a pit exit, get caught speeding in the pits. That's about the only thing that I see is going to make any kind of a difference up here in the front.
Yeah, and that's true. That would probably be the only thing that would change the outcome of the race. And right now, while things are still very calm on the racetrack, I would just like to take a moment to say thank you to Ethan Moses, Travis Brown, Hoosier Man 34, and Mark McFadden. Y'all have been sitting there in the chat talking about this race, enjoying watching. Thank you guys for sticking around in maybe the not most entertaining race in the world, but sure has had a fair share of excitement from the Irish hills of Michigan. And right now, the leaders are just pulling away. They have almost a 12-second lead over third, and they're about to lap 10th, so that will just put us down to 9 cars in the lead lap as they're setting a blistering pace. But thank you to the fans for sticking around.
All right, we're going to throw a question out here. Don Stevenson, he sits 2nd position right now. He is behind Nathan Sedlak, guys. They've pretty much been like that this entire race. Let's look at their facts right now, or rather their stats. Nathan Sedlak enters tonight as the championship points leader.
We got a caution on the track. Caution on the track.
Caution! Caution!
And half the drivers just said thank the Lord over the radio. And I'm pretty sure Sedlak and Stevenson not liking that. This caution was thrown by the race officials. Can we find the cause of it? I don't see a car around, guys.
No, I don't.
I don't see anybody around, but I'm going to tell you right now what this is going to do is this is going to really hurt drivers like Everett Lane, George Barks. George Barks, who just got done pitting, is now a lap down. Charlie Starks is a lap down. James Wilkins, all these guys that are a lap down have no chance now of getting a lap back. You know, if something big were to happen in the pits, You know, some of these guys might have had a chance of getting a lap back, but somebody like George Barks, who had just got done pitting, went that lap down. This is going to destroy any hope that he has of getting back on the lead lap now, unless we get caution after caution because of this.
I have to disagree, Carl. I think all the lead lap cars are going to come down pit road, and I think they'll be able to get the wave around here, I do believe. Although, if someone stays out, that will ruin their chances to come down pit road. And I think I found the cause of the caution. There was a beer can high in turn 3.
The caution's going to be for the 79 of Joel Wood. And he didn't wreck, but the 68 got in the wall in front of him there. They made contact, and Joel got a little bit sideways, went through the grass, and went back up, and he was able to hang on to it. And that's the only thing that I saw at the point in which the caution flag was, again, manually thrown by race control. So leaders coming down pit road. I don't like that call, though, to throw the caution on that. I don't like it.
I think it was more or less anything that they needed to caution.
Well, I mean, we've seen that you will see race control manually throw a caution in the past or multiple car incidents. But I think if Joel Wood was able to save it, if you spun it in the grass, and iRacing's not going to automatically throw it if you're down and you're off the racing surface. That's fair game. But I think if he saves that, then I think that is a caution that is rather uncalled for. We're hearing race control's statement right now, so trying to listen in on this one. 79 of Joel Wood is the machine that they're referencing. Still listening in. That's why I kind of sound like I'm half on this conversation.
Oh, I thought you were stuttering. But I'm liking PD's observation better. He saw that beer can up there in turn 4, sitting at the top of the racetrack.
I mean, a beer can probably would have done as much damage as a car that didn't wreck. In my opinion, it's been classified as a racing incident. Laura is reporting that they have had a camera in 3 and 4, and they do not see this mysterious beer can.
Well, there was a fan holding the beer can. That's what it was.
Was it a hot dog wrapper, maybe?
Oh my goodness! The fan was actually on the catch fence with the beer can. There's your caution right there, folks.
On the catch fence with a beer can. Yes.
They had actually climbed up. They dropped their beer can. They climbed down the fence.
That's alcohol abuse.
They picked up their beer can, finished their beer, and went back over the fence. There was the cause of the caution, folks. And I'm glad we could clarify that to you.
But on a different note here, we have had some pit stops now with Nathan Sedlak, and all of our leaders actually have decided to go down pit road, except for Don Stevenson stayed out and James Brown. They both stayed out. Michael Churchman, I believe, also stayed out. But I did see, wow, brain just went completely blank. Help, guys.
Well, I'm going to say this, that the NASCAR Sunday Money Series with the Jacques Debris caution, or as my opinion on it is the BS Debris caution, because I do not like that at all. That does not sit good with me. Anyways, side note, it's going to be a wild finish.
A wild finish, yeah, but you gotta question also, being that they decided to throw a caution, what happens? We always say this in all the other racing, when we see it happening, is cautions breed cautions. It's going to get these guys all back up here side by side, and this could be a mess.
It could
be. These guys are already tired. They've been out there running. They've been out there running for 121 laps. I mean.
Well, if you're those Storm Motorsports guys that had 12 seconds a lead that you worked 115 laps for, you're probably not the biggest fan of the race officials right now, especially if you don't win this race.
But Carl, I think he's caught up down on pit road with our in-race reporter. Our in-race report tonight is that no, I mean, he's in his car, but Carl has got down. Oh, we're going green, actually. I thought.
Yeah, we're not gonna
Petey,
be
quit
able
lying
to.
to yourself. He's not on pit road. We're in the
He's not on
cars.
pit road.
We're in the cars.
Yeah,
Unless you want to pay Everett, because again, they do get payouts, Petey. Unless you want to volunteer to give Everett the payout for a possible position, I'm sure he'd have no problem coming down and talking to us. We are going to go green. This has kind of thrown us off because I think we were all ready for this one to ride out, and now it's going to be a 29 to go restart with Don Stevenson. We do believe
They're
that the
waving
race
off the
control
restart.
is going to, they're going to wave it off. We got a couple guys that still need to catch up. Jeremy Crandall, Dale Adkins, and the back half of the field is not entirely grouped up quite yet. The pace car is diving off, and green flag is in the air, and now they're going to delay it.
Oh.
Unfortunately, that's going to cost some time because they were unable to delay it by the one lap. So now we are going to attempt to queue up our in-race reporter, Everett Lane. Haven't had an opportunity to do so tonight, and Carl, we're going to try to get you hooked up on the radio with him if we can find his frequency here, and we are dragging him up, so let's see if you can get a copy on the radio with him.
Hey, Everett, this is Carl up here in the tower, man. You got a copy? Everett Lane, you got a copy? Well, apparently we are experiencing some problems here. Everett is not able to hear us.
Oh no, I think the beer can man cut his radio wires, so this is another problem we're experiencing.
Very good
here.
possibility there.
Sharp ass beer can.
Ooh.
It's Sunday night. We're hanging back here.
I think we're going to take this opportunity to try to get Carl to catch up with race leader, Nathan Sedlak, as we're going to bring him up here to the booth. As we're going to bring him up here, I mean, second place runner right now.
He's not. We're on the radio right now. Nathan Sedlak, you got a copy. Hey Nathan, you got a copy? Man, I'm telling you,
Oh
it's
my
a day.
goodness.
It's a day race. The train is falling off the track here, folks. Thanks for sticking in with us. This is getting out of hand. None of the radios are working. We're still trying to get cycled up. Lights on the pace car. Let's go to a commercial break. We're going to try to catch up and regroup here, and we'll be back. The race to the checkered flag going to be coming up from the Irish Hills of Michigan. More on LA. Stay with.
Now,
We are back live from the Irish Hills of Michigan International Speedway for the NASCAR Sunday Money Series on LSR TV with Cora, Championship Online Racing Association, coming down to what's going to be a late restart. Still 25 laps to go in this race right now. Lights currently are on top of the Ford First Mustang pace car. We just cycled by. We're hearing 2 to green on this one, so that's going to put us right in about 22, 23 laps to go, I believe, coming up on the restart there. And the train started to come off the tracks there for a little bit, so we're going to try to get back with it, per se, from the Irish Hills of Michigan, trying to get those in there as much as possible. Guys, I want to ask you first off, again, the contact coming out of quarter number 4, and the way that we've seen the race officials handle the procedures for calling those caution flags in previous races. Again, this is race 6. We have seen I guess we'll call it an executive action, per se. When, there's a couple cars that get wrecked, it doesn't automatically trigger it. Race control takes care of that. On a more serious note, what are your guys' thoughts on that yellow there? Because I personally don't like that call.
I have to agree with you on that. They really hurt these guys. I mean, you had drivers like Don Stevenson and his teammate. They were up there in the front. They had a 12-second lead, and that just evaporated. You have drivers like George Bark, who, he got back on the lead lap, but that just messed with his pit strategy altogether, and now he's sitting all the way back here in 16th position. I don't like the call.
I have to say that I applaud the league for throwing that yellow flag. Their drivers are really in danger with the grass flying into their windshields. They could have been blind. Because, they could have been easily blinded by all the grass coming off from this racing surface there, so I'm really glad that we have...
Okay, so anyways, moving forward, the lights are off on top of the pace car. We want to welcome Petey Zeller back up to the broadcast booth with us, alongside myself, Evan Posoko, Carl Jones as well, Laura Lawson, talking about something to do with the president and immigration over the whisper here, and our in-race reporter that we had our first opportunity to talk to, Everett Lane, in the number 24 car. Doubled up, going to be a 23 lap to go restart. Stevenson going to be in the top spot, Churchman in second. Big mix-up, though, here, rather big shuffle. We have Ryan Borges up to third, David Wink in fourth, Martin Porter in P5, Nick Doucette in sixth, Damon Gilbert seventh, Nathan Sedlak all the way back to eighth position, ninth to Scott Bailey, and Salicardi is in 10th position as they sit right now. And it actually appears that we got some more confusion on the grid here, so we got a couple guys swapping some lanes, trying to get things figured out, but we are going to be going green this time by.
Noticing a lot of drivers have been given an EOL penalty here over the last couple of laps. We have James Wilkins, George Bark, Brian Cruz Monsivice, Dominic Dieball, Joel Woods. They all got an EOL penalty. I don't know exactly what that was all about, but every single one of them were sent back to the end of the longest line here for this restart. Didn't see exactly what happened, but well, there you have it.
I applaud the league for giving them EOLs. I think
Green
that was the right
flag
call.
is going to be green flag going to be coming up. Pace car is down. We're grouped up. We're starting to bounce off each other. Hold on, it's about to get crazy. Green flag in the air. Now side by side for the top two spots. The 20 is trying to get that 88 going. Not the best start. Getting up through the gears, rather, for Churchman. Ryan Borges may get an opportunity to steal this. He's through to second.
Don Stevenson pulled out about a tenth of a second lead there on Michael Churchman. Michael Churchman is taking a look at the second place. Ryan Borges in third. David Wenk here sitting in the fourth spot. Nicholas Doucette, our young prodigy, sitting up here right now in the fifth position. Martin Porter has moved his way up to sixth position. Damon Gilbert, he's still in this. He is sitting here in seventh position. So anything can happen now. I mean, this is a whole new race, guys.
Gotta talk about that 51 and 5th right now. Doing a great job racing these seasoned veterans at such a young age. He's gonna try to get by David Wenk as they are racing side by side from the Irish Hills of Michigan. And for 5th, the first battle on the racetrack, Nicholas Doucette, the young gun, trying to hold off the 8 of Martin Porter. The Porter has the great run off the corner, and he's going to lose his top 5. Doucette back to 6th. Tough break for him. They race side by side behind him. The Damon Gilbert machine of Scott Bailey going to try to race. That did not work out well. Guy who dominated a lot of this race, Sedlick, is going to try to find his way back to his field. He has a long way to go and a short time to get there. And, oh, the 68 of Damon Gilbert loose almost got on 35. That could have been bad. as the 35 clears him, and he's going to find his way around the young gun Doucette soon.
Yeah, that 20 machine making a move on the inside of Churchman does not work. 8 going to go to the attack. That's Martin Porter to the outside now, down through 1 and 2, trying to keep a nose on the outside of David Wink's machine. You see pinching down, trying to take whatever air off of that 20 he can. He will do so. He'll be able to stay out cool, nearly contact in the right rear. Got real close on each other. The 51 of Doucette just behind them, waiting in the wings, watching this. Meanwhile, top 2 pulled out by 0.5 of a second. It's Ryan Borges chasing down Don Stevenson, who is looking for his 4th checkered flag on the season, and he needs to hang on for just 20 more laps this time by. Borges continuing to try to close in the gap, though, between that 47 and the 32. It's 0.2 of a second up front, side by side, still for 4th. That 8 still trying to make the outside lane work. Not going to happen. 20 nearly gets clear now, battling back as Martin Porter not giving up on it.
Battle for 7th and 8th position back here between Scott Bailey and Nathan Sedlick was over really quickly there as Bailey took a look to the inside, made that pass really quick, but Nathan Sedlick is right back to the inside, and he's going to do the same thing. He's going to repay the favor. He's going to take that position right on back.
Michael Churchma gets an awful run off the quarter. That's going to leave the door open for his teammate, David Wenck. Wenck down low. He's going to try to find a way around him. Is the 8 of Porter going to want to find him? 8 of Porter's going to want to find a way around too. Doucette battling back there. I'm sorry, you guys don't have enough Soko making jokes in your ear as we are battling hard here for the 5th position. Great job. Nicholas Doucette finds a wonderful way around the 8 of Martin Porter here from the Irish Hills of Michigan.
It looks like Don Stevenson is slowly being able to put some time on Ryan Borges. 2300ths the last time by. And it's a second back to 3rd place battle where you again see that 20 of David Wink now up at the outside lane. 88 is on the bottom. The 51 is on that bottom lane. Petey giving him a lot of props down there as he works on the back bumper of Michael Churchma. Sedlak also trying to fight his way back through this field. He's going to be able to complete a pass on that 51 machine. Sliding back as well, a couple other cars trying to get back there. The 68 of Damon Gilbert, who was up front. The 00 of James Brown. These guys were top 5 cars prior to that caution. They're outside the top 10 trying to get some positions made up, and maybe they can hope on a caution flank to fly to give them another opportunity at advancing their position. Look at the run, though, by the 35 machine. Sedlak, he's got nowhere to go, though. He'll follow that 20 of David Wink, give him a little push down the front.
One car right now that's having seemingly a little bit of problem here is the 00 car, as he's going to lose a couple positions here quickly as he's going to drop back to the 13th position. Gilberts and Loins both were able to get around him seemingly pretty easily. Not sure exactly what was going on with James, but the Lafarge machine loses a couple positions there in the lap.
Yeah, and meanwhile, let's take a moment to compliment Ryan Borges in the 32. He's made way all the way up from 22nd starting position to 2nd. He's just kind of driven his way through the field slowly and methodically, and now he's up there battling for a win with his quote-unquote teammate Don Stevenson, as we just have 16 laps to go from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Battling hard, though, still for that 4th position. No one's really made a case that they want that position except Nathan Sedlick is trying to find a way around, and he will clear him. Evan, as this race is getting down to the end, the nitty-gritty of it, does Nathan Sedlick have enough time to catch Don Stevenson and try to retake this race? At one point he dominated.
Even though he's making up spots, he's still slower than the guys in front of him, at least the last time by. We're going to get a more accurate read on it this time as he has clean track in front of him. Borges has slid back to about 4/10 off of Don Stevenson right now. We're going to get the updated numbers. 15 to go from the Irish Hills of Michigan to Michigan International Speedway. That time by now 5/10, half a second. And again, Sedlak actually going to lose some time as well. Sedlak running with a 40.538. It's a 5.95 for Stevenson, so barely closing in actually was Nathan Sedlak, but he's too far back that I don't believe he'll be able to get a legitimate shot at it unless we see a caution. If we were to do so, that would put Sedlak behind Stevenson in a prime position to challenge. But right now, I do feel that it is the 47 and the 35 being the 2 strongest cars on track, much like they have been all race long. Borges sitting in second right now. You mentioned he's been able to make up 20 spots from where he started. Don't think he has enough to challenge, though, for the top spot quite yet.
Yeah, he's falling back about 1/10 of a second a lap as Borges. He is now 0.6 of a second behind Stevens here now for the lead. Nathan Sedlak, on the other hand, is just the opposite. He is gaining about a tenth, maybe a little bit more than a tenth a second a lap. David Wenck still sitting back here in the 4th position, and looks like that big battle there for 4th on back has pretty much settled down, as these guys have all got it single filed out now.
Yeah, and as the track conditions start to heat up, the drivers start to cool down a little bit here late in the race. Normally the opposite, but right now everything's getting really spread out. First battle on the racetrack, it's not really a battle at the moment, is Churchma and Doucette. They're going to try to battle for that 5th position in a second if the young gun can get by him. But right behind them, there is a more heated battle. Up there 4th, about the 10th position, the 50 is trying to find his way around the number 08. Dustin Lee has just got around the 08 for another position of Scott Bailey. Dustin Lee starting to move his way back to his field. Not sure he has enough time. Another car I want to point out really quick, he was lightning fast early in this race. George Bark has not had the same type of speed he had earlier. He's only found his way back to 14th. He cannot make up as many positions as he did in the first 20 laps of this event. So George Bark looks as though his magical run he had going today is going to end here if he does not catch some sort of break.
And again, he was one of those drivers that received some sort of a black flag there under the caution flag conditions. James Wilkins, George Bark, Brandon Mossaves, Dominic Diebold, Joel Wood were all given EOL penalties sent to the back of the line, the end of the longest line. So they had to work their way not only through the lap cars just to get to those guys that were at the tail end of the lead lap, and then obviously be able to battle for position as they sit right now. The 51 going to try to make another move. That is Nicholas Doucette. He is battling with the aid of Martin Porter. That is going on right now for the number 6 spot. 8 machine, great run, great drive right there by Martin Porter to be able to get that position. Give him that number 6 spot at that start-finish line right now. Churchman still hanging on to the last spot in the top 5. No immediate bumper-to-bumper in those top 5 running cars at the moment. Still a battle now with the 50 Dustin Lee going backwards. He's up high. Challenge to the bottom by the 08 of Scott Bailey going to come short. Damon Gilbert to the high side.
Looks like Damon Gilbert is going to go up here. He's going to make this pass on Scott Bailey's stick, and he's going to drop it back down in front as we see one car that looks like he's going to try to get racy again here. That's the 00 Lafarge Employees car. The CEO, James Brown, as he's going to now take a look to the inside of the 08 of Scott Bailey and see if he can make this pass.
The flagman waves 10 fingers from the driver, indicating 10 laps to go here from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Don Stevenson is getting ready to hang on for yet another win. Here they go. Ryan Borges is now out of trouble. He has Nathan Sedlak in his mirror. His affiliate is going to go around him as Ryan Borges is letting him go. I'm not sure. Ryan Borges is going to fight hard on the outside. Remember, Ryan Borges is second in points with a win at Richmond in the Super Late Model earlier in the season. He's going to get freight trained here if he's not careful. The 20 of David Wenck is underneath him. Ryan Borges does not want to lose that all-elusive podium finish. He's going to have to battle hard here. One thing to note, though, is, oh my goodness, caution on the racetrack. Another race control caution, a beer can in turn 4.
Looking, don't see anybody around. Caution is back out. Trying
beer
to
can
find
is back.
out. Let's watch the pace car. I'm going to take a look at the time that the pace car lights were activated to see if we can find what the problem is. And, I mean, I don't see anybody around again.
I'm 90% sure this is another beer can.
Well,
I'm at a loss. I'm at a total loss. This is wow.
Well, the first one, I think you had a little bit of an excuse. There were cars that made contact. They didn't wreck, but it wasn't a caution. And now there was no wreck, and we have another caution. We're hearing the explanation right now. Let's pause for a moment.
While we're paused for a moment, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors.
Hearing the 79 car wreck. Joel Wood went to the inside on Everett Lane. They made contact. The 79 hit the wall. So it was the 79 again, hit the wall, pulled off track, escaped out. And I'm trying to time this with, when the lights came on the pace car, hit the wall, went down, and had actually escaped out, and a caution was thrown. Again, I heard the 79 machine, can't confirm that that's what it's for, But
79 did
yeah,
get hard
they're
on the
talking
wall.
about 79. He hit the wall, he escaped, and then they threw the yellow about a minute later.
I gotta just say right there, all jokes aside, I think that was unnecessary. The 79, he wasn't anyone's way. He didn't.
It was
even
a minute
spin out.
later. They didn't even throw it right away.
It was. There was. They're saying they thought there was oil on the track. But
Now we don't have the debris yet. That is a future possibility. And you saw the replay. 79. Again, it was the 79. Got loose, hit the wall, did not spin. There was nobody behind him. He was at the back of the pack. Immediately escaped out, and then the caution flew, 60 seconds later. So I don't like those calls. Meanwhile, Carl, you got, we're going to try again with Everett on the radio.
Hey, Everett, this is Carl up in the tower. You got a copy?
How you doing, Carl?
Doing well, man. 2 cautions here being thrown by race officials. Any idea what's going on out here? Why are they calling caution flags?
Well, we got a long green flag race in there. Some single car incidents going on, double car incidents going on. It just happens sometimes.
Okay, I know you can hear it better than what we can. The explanations. We're trying to find out exactly what was going on out there on the racetrack on why they're calling cautions.
Yeah, cars are getting loose, running on no tires, 2 tires. They're starting to get a little more aggressive here at the end. They're starting to get loose. Me and the 79 got together a little bit.
Well, now that we got that out of the way, just wondering how that 24 car is handling for you tonight. You having any issues out there at all, or is it handling pretty good?
I just got a EOL, so I guess that was my fault. But racing's racing out here. It's been a good race. It's been a lot of green flag racing. I guess we're going to have to start at the back here and see if I can't make my way back to the front.
Well, Everett, we're going to let you get back down here. Before we do, you got any shout-outs you want to give?
Oh, yeah, I want to thank, Fast Lane Racing, Quick Lane Racing, and Left Lane Racing. Got a bunch of good racing teams put together, a bunch of good guys, and let's see if we can't bring some of these things in the top 10 today.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time there and talking to us, Everett. Good luck the rest of the race. Hopefully you can move yourself back up through this field.
10-4, Carl. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Well, Everett, there you have it. They're saying that they just wanted to give these guys a break. I didn't think they needed a break, but apparently that's what it was.
And Everett just got back to the driver radio to note again. He was given the EOL penalty, or he was deemed the cause of the caution, and he just got back to the driver channel and said, "Wow!" in response to him being given the cause of the caution. So Everett not too satisfied about that one either.
I mean,
fully understandable. I mean, I didn't see where he really did much of anything wrong, but that's race officials' call there. I mean, they call them as they see them. Best I can say.
Well, it's hard to agree with that one there. They were coming up to just 8 laps ago. This race was basically all but over. And one thing I want to note, Ryan Borges was in 3rd when the caution came out. Look what this did to him. It moved him all the way back to 14. So Ryan, and they're going to disable Everett Lane's chat here as Ryan Borges gets short on the stick here.
And now John Stevenson, who looked like he was guaranteed. They're going to get the 1 to green this time by lights are off. It's going to be a 4-lap shootout. If a caution flag is to fly, then the race will end under caution flag conditions. What this does is it's going to put Nathan Sedlak outside, who was faster than Don Stevenson. Stevenson would have had it, I think, if this one went green all the way. I think Stevenson would have had it if this most recent caution did not fly. If Nathan Sedlak gets the checkered flag here, I mean, Don Stevenson really can't complain too much. It's his teammate, number 1. Number 2, he's got 3 trips to victory lane. But if that 47 were to lose this from somebody that is not his teammate, I'm pretty sure he would not be too happy about the end result, guys. Final calls here. It's coming to 4 to go. Who takes home the checkered flag? I'm saying Nathan Sedlak's going to get the job done.
I'm gonna go with our 3-time winner here, Don Stevenson. He's on the inside. He's got a fast car. He's been fast all day long. Yeah, Nathan has been a little bit faster, it seems like, at times, but he does have, like I said, the inside starting position here, so I think he's got the advantage.
George Bark does the unthinkable, passes 11 cars in just 4 laps and wins the race.
I'm not sure if he's going to pull the Ian Plash at Talladega, but we'll see. 12th place for George Bark, trying to recover after getting cycled through from the in EOL on the second to most recent caution. Here we go, the pace car cycling through corners number 3 and 4, getting set to dive down to pit lane. Don Stevenson in control of the field. The 35 of Nathan Sedlak alongside him. Green flag now in the air, back underway. The 20 of David Wink trying to challenge. A lot of tire spin on that one, guys. It looks like Sedlak's going to be clearing. These top 2 guys may be able to race it out for the win.
All right, going down here into the back stretch here now. Don Stevenson's able to pull out real quick, 10th of a second lead over Nathan Sedlak. David Wink, he's going to be following close behind here in 3rd position. We got him fanning out here in the back end of the racetrack. They got a wreck in the back of the field. Caution is out. That's going to be the end of this race. Don Stevenson is going to be the winner of tonight's race.
Don Stevenson does get his win.
Is around real quick. It's the his Chevrolet. It started in front of him. The 08 machine, I believe, was turned around just in front of him. That's Scott Bailey. Bailey got sideways, and it was George Bark who was trying to find a way through, attempted to shoot the gap with a big run, got sideways. Him and the 08 got in the wall, and then Bailey sideways in the middle of the racetrack got clipped by a couple of other cars. Caution flag would fly from that one, evidently. And this one is going to go to Don Stevenson. Carl, even despite the caution flag had come out there with that incident down the back, you have to attribute that to a great restart by Don, because, you know, if he was able to allow Sedlak to get up next to him, Nathan Sedlak could have easily made a move by the time they were down the back and could have won it. So the 47 nails one last restart, and he earns fourth checkered flag in 6 races.
That's very, very impressive. I mean, I'm still at a loss. That caution flag should not have come out. I'm sorry. I just don't agree with what they did there. You know, they did exactly what I said I was going to do, and cautions do breed cautions. Like I said before, you know, that this was bound to happen, and we went from having a great finish by Nathan Sedlak and Don Stevenson to this. I just don't know what to say. I'm just really disappointed.
Yeah, and again, both, and we've seen it pass. And the first one I can think of is Atlanta. We saw an incident, and we had a couple of guys go around. And because of that, no caution was triggered. Race control threw it fair game. Because, again, iRacing typically is only going to trigger the caution flag if it flies when those cars are on the racing surface. If you spin down the back, typically not going to happen. Right, so, you know, typically, and I think the rule is designed for, you know, you get 2-3 guys. I know Everett was talking about that. That's his understanding of it as well. You get a couple of guys tangled up, you know, all right, caution flies. They throw it because, again, it's not like real NASCAR where all of them are manually decided. They throw it fair game. You know, those guys are able to get back going. We have seen times in the past, though, at starter races where there's been trouble and, you know, there was no caution, and then tonight we see Joel Wood in both incidents where he gets damaged, but, I mean, never got more than 15 degrees sideways, you know, bounced off of somebody, and the caution flag flies. And we saw that kind of contact, Carl, in the middle of that long green flag run. I talked about, remember when we had the car going down through the grass there as well, and they were able to race that one out, and then again this one, making contact race control, deeming that one being a one that would be suitable for a caution, and then 2 caution flags being thrown in what's going to be about the final 40-lap stint in this one. That, in the end, it doesn't change the result for Don Stevenson. Don Stevenson gets the checkered flag. He was leading at the time of both of those cautions that were thrown by the tower. But there's a lot of guys that are going to lose positions, including guys that were in that most recent wreck, are going to lose spots than what they should have been if it went green all the way.
Yeah, it's a hard call. I mean, like you said, you know, we did have incidents that happened earlier on in the race that nothing was said about, nothing was done about, but 2 small incidents where really no major problem happened. You know, they threw 2 caution flags. And like you said, it did cause a lot of drivers to lose a lot of positions. Drivers like George Bark, you know, he had his pit strategy all planned out, what he was going to do today, and he seemed to be sticking to that pit strategy, which we'll never know now if it would have been something that could have worked for him or it could have got him up maybe into a top 10 finish. Unfortunately, that's going to relegate him back to 14th position.
This race is going to finish with 18 drivers on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is going to be Dominic Dabble in 18th. We will give a full field rundown once we come back and talk to our top 3 finishers here. Coming up very shortly. Obviously going to go to a commercial break to get the post-race show set up, and then we'll get the official results. We'll let you know where everybody finished, and we will get you set up for the next race that's going to be coming up. That's going to be race 7 as well, coming up on the Cora season. If you want more information on Cora, again, check them out online, Cora-racing.com. It's also the same on Facebook. If you search that in, you can find out some more information in those regards. But after 150 miles of now hard green flag racing, a lot of hard racing as well, a lot of contact, a lot of side-by-side, and throw a little bit of controversy into it as well. 4 for 6. He's batting pretty good on that percentage. Checkered flag tonight. The 47 of Don Stevenson gets the job done again, and it is the Storm/Vortex gang that sweeps the top 4. And as we now roll through 1 and 2, Don Stevenson going to roll that one up. He's going to burn him down to celebrate another trip to victory lane. We're going to come back in just a few moments' time for the post-race show. Going to talk to our top finishers and get you set again to roll into our next race. You're watching Cora Championship Online Racing Association, the Sunday Money Series from the Michigan International Speedway. The post-race show coming up. Stay tuned. Back live from the Michigan International Speedway post-race show on LSR TV. Have a quick update that I want to share on in regards to those EOL penalties. James Wilkins, George Bark, Brandon Monseves, Dominic Diebel, Joel Wood were given EOLs again after the caution flew within 40 to go. Those were for closed pit road infractions via the manually extended period there to get everybody caught up. So that was an update on that. That's something that we were wondering about. Talked to some of the drivers and got that information. Meanwhile, we're talking to the top three, and well, it's almost like we're talking to the same gang week in and week out. We're down on pit road now. Driver of the number 20 machine, David Wink, going to be a top 3 result for you, David. First off, congratulations on the solid podium finish here tonight. You started inside the top 10. We know you had a strong car. How did those final cautions play into your wheelhouse to allow you to get this third place?
That caution with, I believe, at lap 120 really helped me because going into that green flag stops, I was thinking about 2 tires just to even get a chance in the top 5 since I was so far back from the Nathan and Don. So that really helped. The later ones, can't say helped very much. Kind of worried me a little bit.
Rolling through this race again, we had that caution early, and then there was that really long green flag stretch that was, exceeded actually 100 laps, I do believe, when it was all said and done here. Were you guys prepared? I know we were talking about you coming to the races. Some of them you expect them to go green, some of them you expect a little bit more yellows. Were you guys, maybe mentally prepared for it to go green that long, or were you expecting a little bit more shorter stints?
Going into this, we had a sinking feeling it was going to be long green flag runs, but we weren't thinking about 100. We were thinking about more like 50 to 60. Those type of runs. With the set being as tight as it was, we didn't think it was going to go that long.
Well, you're able to make, get the job done, and you continue the strong start to your season. Going to pick up your 4th top 5. In this campaign. So that's obviously got to feel good for you guys. Right now, you're on the positive end of that cutoff for the chase. What do you need to keep doing here to be able to stay above that 12th position cutoff to have a chance to battle for the championship?
I just need to drive smart, stay out of trouble, do what I've been doing the last 4 weeks with the top 5s, and just be there strategy-wise at the end, make smart decisions in pit road. That was my biggest issue before is pit road. But I've been strong lately with that, so that's what's kept me up here.
Are we going to see that number 20 car in victory lane here coming up soon? You think you're closing in on that?
Hopefully. I might have to spend Don here one of these races to do it, but joking. But hopefully we can see this 20 back in victory lane this season.
And forward to that. Before we let you go, sponsors and shout-outs, David, and everybody who makes it happen for you.
Got to give a big shout out to Storm Motorsports, me, Nathan, Don, Vortex, Ryan, Michael, and Eric Sharp. I mean, those guys are a big help. And Naggin, North America Gaming Network, my sponsor that's on the car. And I'm just one happy team owner. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, my guys. So I'm very, very happy.
It's another impressive outing, to say the least, for you and your guys. Again, congratulations, David, and good luck rolling forward here, not only in the season, but then again, your request, for the championship coming up later on.
Thank you.
That was our 3rd place finisher tonight, David Wink, again, 4th top 5 in 6 starts. These guys, Carl, really putting it to the rest of the field. He comes home with the 3rd place tonight, and you're down with another driver that is no stranger to these top finishing positions. You've caught up with Nathan Sedlak.
Hey, Nathan, great race today, buddy. You ran up there in the front all day long, came home with a 2nd place finish after starting 5th. How did that car run for you today?
Ran pretty well. Did what we could with the fixed set, though. First, man, I got to say thanks to all the guys in Cora, all the drivers out there that made that race what it was. Could have been a long, drawn-out night, but we got the laps done, and everybody did a wonderful job, and that was exciting being out there with them. But, yeah, good run, really good car. Just trying to be disciplined on the line. It was really tough all night, and had a little fatigue set in on that long run and forgot to take on 4 tires with about 30 to go, and almost ruined my night. Could almost got back to Don, but we got the late caution. So it is what it is. We'll take it.
Speaking of Don, I know he's your teammate, but what's it going to take to beat him this season? It looks like he is just dominating just about everywhere he goes. He's got 4 wins now on the season. What is it going to take to get to the front of that pack and win one of these races over him?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. You can't screw up like I did. That's all it took tonight was a couple of check tires after running that many laps under green, wasn't paying attention. was talking strategy before and never switched it back. Took 2, and I just had to go back in. But that's all it takes to lose to him. I think I had his number tonight and could have got him, but we'll take it. It's a tough guy to beat. It's excellent having him out there. I'm learning a lot and coming along real well.
Well, I got to say, you guys had at one point a 12-second lead over the rest of the field. You and Stevenson, excuse me, and that caution came out. What went through your mind when the caution came out? With a 12-second lead on the field, what were you thinking?
Well, the whole time it was green, we were talking strategy and everything. So when the caution came out, we knew it was a whole new race again. And we just knew it was wipe the slate clean. We'll start over. Guys were going to be charging hard, and we were going to see what was going to happen. But unfortunately, there I got caught back in ninth, which wasn't too bad because we had so many cars that we had lapped. So that helped out a little bit. I didn't fall away far back, but I knew it was a whole new race, and there was guys that were itching to get up there for sure. But the way we drove the set was different than a lot of people. I got out real early, a lot earlier than everybody else, and the drive off was just so great, and that's what helped me the whole night.
Well, I gotta ask you. We talked about this during the broadcast here, and when they threw the cautions, we went back and tried to find what the cautions were. We couldn't find anything. Do you agree with what they did? I know the first one was probably a big break, got you to get a little bit of feeling back in your arms, but that second caution, I'm still trying to figure out what the second caution was about.
Yeah, that one wasn't ever explained in the room, so I don't know a lot about it. I'll definitely go back, watch the race, see what happened, see what the call was. It's just unfortunate. I guess, things go that way sometimes. I'm not one that's going to gripe too much about it. You just go with the flow and take it. It's a long season. Things like that are going to happen. It's unfortunate, yeah, because, it could have changed everything there at the end. But I was glad I got close to second, and then I had another caution come out, so I was back up there where I needed to be to try and win that race. The worst one was the last one, but we'll take that, and we'll go from here.
Well, Nathan, now you got 1, 2, 3, 4 tonight, so you guys really, really did well. Real strong Storm Motorsports team, especially. You guys are showing that you guys have probably the best chance of winning this championship if you're able to keep this up. Just wanted to congratulate you on your second place finish, and I want to ask you got any shout outs for tonight?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to all those guys, Storm, Vortex, North American Gaming Network, everything that everybody does. We're a good group of guys. We help each other out, talk, and, we bring other guys along, we help them out, and it's just fun interacting with everybody. Good friendships. We've been together now for almost 2 years, so it's a really good group of guys. We're sticking together real tight and real fun. We're having a good time.
That's our second place finisher, Nathan Sedlak. I believe Evan Pasoko is down in victory lane now with our winner.
And I think I said last week that this is becoming a recurring theme. And now I think we should probably just schedule this 4th checkered flag in 6 races. Mr. Don Stevenson in victory lane once again. Don, you got your first 2 back-to-back. It's going to be back-to-back again tonight. How did you get the job done, especially being able to pace yourself and get what at the point before the cautions flew was 12 seconds over the rest of the field?
Well, to tell you the truth, I really got lucky in this race tonight. Nathan was the best driver tonight, the whole race. I was doing everything I could just to hang on and stay with him there throughout that long green flag run there. But I think he was the real reason we were able to pull away as much as we did, because he was just so fast and everything, and I was able to keep up in his draft that no one else was really able to stay with us, and we were able to save our tires there, which throughout those long green flag runs, which made it even better for us on the long, towards the end when we made pit stops, and then we just kind of played the strategy, played what the race was facing us, and we were prepared to take 2 tires there at the end, and we were prepared to take all 4 also, and then we had the caution with about 25-30 to go, which really threw a monkey wrench and everything, but and that was where I guess Nathan had his trouble there with pit road, but hated seeing that because, like I said, he was really strong. But I'm always happy to get the win here.
And never complain. And I asked you the same question last week, and I guess we'll ask again. This was a fixed setup race. So the fact that the Storm, the Vortex gang, not only ran so strong all race, but sweep the top 4. You guys are just putting on a show here to kick off this season.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we work together. I mean, we'll race each other hard, when the time comes, but, through 95% of the race, you can bet we're going to be working together. And I think that's kind of what separates us from everyone else is our teamwork. I think is better than everyone else's, and also having a lot of driving ability there sure doesn't hurt at all.
You guys are definitely solidifying yourselves as serious title contenders. Now that you're knocking off these wins, but you got to stay, rather consistent through the year to make it to the chase. Do you feel like the way you started off this season so strong now, 4 wins in 6 races, or if we look back to when we spoke last week, at that point, it was 3 wins in 5 races. It's going to be a 5-race chase for the championship. Do you feel confident in your abilities that when it comes down to that, you'll be able to, keep up the run, or rather match this kind of a run that you're having here to start it off when it matters the most?
Well, I mean, that's the chase. I mean, that's so far ahead that, I'm trying not to look too much towards that because, like I said, we still have a lot of racing to go here. And, anything can happen over the next, 15 some odd weeks before the chase. But, when the chase does come, those tracks, they're just so – there's so many of those races where anybody can win because – pretty much all those racetracks you pretty much hold it wide open, and it is all draft in those last 5 races, and they're kind of almost 5 mini Daytona Talladega races. So you want to think that we'll be able to do this in the chase, and I know we're going to work together just as well as we do now, but anything can happen those last 5 races, and it's too hard to predict those. So that's why my main focus this year was I wanted to do the best I could here on these 1.5 these 2-mile tracks where I know where where you have a lot more control over your fade, and and that was pretty much my focus from the beginning of the season, and that's what I'm going to continue throughout.
Well, you're able to get the job done, Don, and as always, before we let you go, you're actually able to park it in Victory Lane this week. Sponsors and shout-outs again, everybody who made this kind of a run possible for you and the team.
Well, first off, gotta thank my guys here with Storm Motorsports and Vortex Motorsports. Nathan, David, Ryan Borges, Michael Churchman. He had a great run tonight, finishing in 4th, and we're hoping to get him up here in the podium too. But gotta thank those guys. They're just such a great group of guys to work with, and they're great friends as well. We hang out during the week and everything. It's really a fun time, and gotta thank North American Gaming Network for coming on board and supporting our team this season, supporting all of our teams really. And I got a wonderful family here, wonderful support system, and it's hard sometimes doing this if you don't have the support system. And I'm lucky enough to have everybody. I'm lucky enough to have my wonderful wife here. It just supports me every week, and my parents that get into it just as much as I do, and it's fun, seeing their reaction and everything when I do good. So, I can't thank everybody enough. I'm a lucky guy to be racing these cars.
Well said, Don. Well, once again, congratulations and props to you and again the whole team for being able to get the start to the season that you guys have had. We weren't expecting. We knew you guys were strong, but the domination and the open and then also the fix set races week in and week out. It's a treat to watch. So again, congrats and again, good luck rolling forward. Race 7 coming up.
Thanks, Evan. Thank you guys there with Thalasar TV and Cora Racing, for everything you guys do. This is a really, really fun series here.
That is tonight's first place finisher for, 4th time this season. Don Stevenson takes home the checkered flag. Now going to take this opportunity to speak to Kevin McCarthy. Carl, you're down on pit road.
Yeah, just walking down pit road here. I came across the COO and the voice on the track of Kevin McCarthy. How you doing tonight, Kevin?
Pretty good, CJ. Yourself?
Doing well, thank you very much. Hey, you were we just saw a tremendous race here. They went well over 100 laps under green. Just a couple questions we need to ask you here real quick. We saw a couple cautions come out here towards the end of the race here that were thrown by the officials. You want to give a little bit of a explanation on what they were thrown for?
We had one incident between, I believe it was 81 and 68, and both of them were delayed cautions. Get feedback from the marshals, some of the stewards on the track, that there had been an incident. So going back and looking at it, calling late cautions on that, bringing the field under caution. The very last one there was really delayed. Had a incident where somebody had stated, one of the marshals had stated that there was a spin on the backstretch. It looked like a single car spin, but after review of that, finding the 24 on lap 139 coming down onto the 79, collecting him and causing him to go up into the wall, delayed caution. So that's why that was brought out.
Well, like I said, we did see a great race tonight. We've seen drivers like Don Stevenson, Nathan Sedlak once again up here in the front of the field. Don Stevenson looks like he is going to be the class of the field here in the Storm Motorsports car this season. You guys have been putting on some great races here in the past couple of weeks, and one of the things that I'm a little bit disappointed of, and I'd like to ask you another question here real quick, if I may, is you guys
Sure.
decided you're going to do away with the late models, the super late models this season. What was the reasoning behind that?
Just the size of the fields, and the drivers just don't seem to be able to cope with those cars, and it's very tight racing in smaller tracks. They're the guys that we've got racing with are very much suited to the larger tracks, and I wouldn't say the cars aren't all that ill handling, but just in regards to larger tracks and giving the drivers more room out there. Otherwise than that, we'd have to go to a short track format, and it just ends up making too much work for the staff. So we decided to go against bringing those cars out any further and just sticking with the current schedule that we've got. Probably won't ever come back to a short track or any of those cars in near future, I don't think.
Well, you did stop me here on pit road and said you wanted to make a statement here tonight. What was it that you wanted to give on live broadcast?
Well, I just wanted to say to all the drivers that we have out there that are involved in Cora, I want to congratulate everyone on a great race tonight. The last few races just been exemplary. I can't say much more for the drivers. I want to thank every one of them for the races that they've given us in the last 3 races. Just been phenomenal. The respect out there is seen tenfold. That's all I wanted to basically say was thanks to the drivers. They're thanking us for what we do, and I just want to thank them for what they're doing for us out there.
Well, thank you for your time there, Kevin. I know you have a busy job up there in the tower, and it's not ever as easy as whatever everybody might want to think it is. I've been up in the tower with you guys. I know how hard it is to make some of these calls, and you guys.
You got that right, CJ.
You guys have been doing a tremendous job up there this season, and look forward to the rest of the season here, and we're going to send it back up here to Evan.
Thanks, Carl Jones.
You know, it took me way too long than it should have to figure out that the CJ thing was your initial, because I thought he said TJ at first, so just a side note on that. I think I might be losing it. But there is the explanation from Race Control. Again, they were delayed, but they were in reference to give them time to review the incidents that happened. So nonetheless, it is still going to be, well, I think the guy that would have brought it victory lane. Either way, Don Stevenson, Carl again, 4 wins now, 6 weeks in, and that whole Storm gang as well. We saw Bark and his teammate Crandall really strong on the plate track to kick things off in Daytona. And since then, I mean, you know, it's one thing to have a team, and they say that, and you know, share the setup with the team. You guys practice together, you're strong. But when you come out here like that, also with a fixed setup that everybody else has, and you're 12 seconds ahead, can't say enough about those guys.
Yeah, those guys, they just put on a clinic tonight. They showed exactly what you needed to do to run on this racetrack, and they did a tremendous job. Don Stevenson, hats off to you, man. That's 4 wins this season, buddy. I think he's got a really good chance of taking this championship if he's able to keep this up. I think we saw a great race today here, kind of marred by a couple little cautions there. The early caution caused by an actual spin, but couple late cautions there that, in my opinion, well, it's only my opinion. But otherwise, yeah, tremendous race. These guys did an absolute tremendous job out here. The entire field did a tremendous job out here, keeping these cars clean and keeping them going in the right direction.
And that wrapped things up from tonight. Again, Stevenson, Sedlak, and Wink, the top three. We talked to them. Also, Michael Churchman, Martin Porter, Nick Doucette in 6th. 7th was Sal Accardi. 8th, Dustin Lee, Damon Gilbert. 9th. And running up the top 10 was James Brown, Borges, Reeves, Loins, Bark, Adkins, Mossave, Lane, Dieball, Starks, and Wilkins would round out 11th through 20th position. 21st through 30th would be Jason Halverson, Jeremy Crandall, John Pansula, Scott Bailey, Dylan Ackert, Joel Wood, Chad Wilson, Colton Berkey, Gordon Berkey, William Roberts, 30th position, and Tim Johnstone would round out tonight's 31-car field. And it was an exciting one. We had everything. We had the late race drama, controversy, green flag racing, and, the typical Storm Motorsports domination, checkered flag tonight for Don Stevenson. That does it on behalf of us at LSR TV for tonight's broadcast. I want to thank everybody that made things happen possible here at Cora, Hurley Property Management, Small Town Computers, iRacing.com, TeamSpeak 3, and BART Competition Karting. For more information for Cora, check them out again online, Cora-racing.com. Also, that is the same thing to search in. Check them out on Facebook as well. And again, everybody here at LSR TV, PDJ Zeller joining us up at the booth, had to step away a little bit early. Laura Lawson pushing the buttons and getting us on air as always. Carl Jones for doing a fabulous job joining me up at the broadcast booth again. My name is Evan Posoko. We have an off week. We're going to see you 2 weeks. Time to beat. Cars are back from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll see you then.